Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, text 23. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedhasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. So Krishna mentions in this section of the chapter dealing with worship of the demigods. Here he says the result of worshipping the demigods is antavattu phalam, that phalam that is attained, that Krishna said in the previous verse, Mayaiva vihitan hitan, because of Krishna's benediction only, the demigods also give the result. But that result obtained from the demigods is antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedhasam. So therefore, they are said to be alpamedhasam. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. And then Krishna addresses a very important point in this verse. Devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. If one thinks that by approaching demigods it's as good as approaching me, they are mistaken. If one worships the devatas, devayajaha, devan yanti, they will go to the devas, the planets where the devatas are there within this material world. Mad bhakta yanti mamapi. But if you worship me, mad bhakta, mam yanti, you will come to me. So people do not know that. Nate viduhu swardhagatim hi Vishnu. For temporary benefits, they go to the other demigods. And that is Antavat. One of the names of Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. Tosha means become pleased or satisfied. Asu means very soon. Ashutosh. So he quickly becomes very pleased to offer a benediction. Therefore, generally people go to Ashutosh, Lord Shiva. He does not consider. The reason is because he is always in meditation on Lord Rama. So he wants to just get done with that person. If you can please, if you can take any benediction, okay, you take it. Because he wants to avoid botheration. Whatever you like, you take it. Therefore, his name is Ashutosh. But Lord Vishnu is not like that. If you want something extraordinary from Lord Vishnu, it's not possible. He'll not give. So in Bhagavatam, it is said, Shreyamsi Sattvam Rajastamaiti Prakruter Gunastair Yuktah Parah Purusha Eka Ihasya Dhatte. That Supreme Lord takes the Gunavataras. Like Lord Brahma is the Gunavatara of mode of passion. Lord Shiva is the Gunavatara of mode of ignorance. And Lord Vishnu himself is the Gunavatara in mode of goodness. But then people might say, oh, they're all avatars of Vishnu. But then Bhagavatam clarifies, even though they are avatars, but Gunavatars of Lord Vishnu, Shreyamsi Tatra Khalu Sattvatanor Nunam Syuhu. Sattvatanoho means the avatar of Sattva Guna, Lord Vishnu. Shreyamsi, if you want the ultimate benefit, Shreya and Preya. These two words are there. Shreya means ultimate spiritual benefit, the real benefit. Preya means temporary benefit related to this body. So if you want Shreya, you have to worship Lord Vishnu. not by others. But generally, people are influenced by Rajoguna and Tamoguna. If you see in general, people largely they are in Tamoguna, Rajoguna. Tamoguna, Rajoguna means sense gratification, lust, and greediness. Unless they see something in it for me, they cannot do it. What is in it for me? For sense gratification. They do not even consider that the senses are even not me. The senses are, this body is not me, the senses are not me, but the senses are forcing me to do crazy things. And we are satisfying these senses. That is why they are said, Kamais tais tair hritagnana, their intelligence is lost because of these lusty desires. And therefore they take shelter of the prapadyante anya devataha. And then the results are temporary. In one literature, Satkriya Saradipika, written by Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So he mentions a very interesting point. So let's say a person, he wants to cross this ocean. So if you want to cross the ocean, you need an expert boat or ship and an expert, very powerful ship and expert, the the ship master, the captain, and favorable winds and all of this. But if he thinks, I don't need all of that, I have my dog, this dog swims very nicely, so I just hold the tail of this dog and I can cross this ocean. So how foolish it is. So just see the analogy. Compared to a strong ship with a nice captain, compared to a foolish dog or a ordinary dog with its tail, can you cross an ocean? So the comparison is like that. An unintelligent man desires to deliver himself from the material bondage by worshipping others, giving up Lord Hari, is like thinking of crossing this ocean by holding the tail of a dog. Of course, the comparison is not, we are not comparing the demigods to the dog. We'll never do that. But the process is being compared. The process is as weak as that, as unintelligent as that. So the also Gopal Bhatta Goswami says, even if you have great learning, slight disreputable activity destroys it. Vast learning is destroyed by just the slightest wrong understanding. Like you've done a great mathematical proof, but your assumption is wrong in the beginning, and the whole theory collapses. The initial value is wrong. Everything becomes wrong. So similarly, our bhakti is destroyed by the slightest dependence on the demigods. So one should depend exclusively on Krishna, and one should think Krishna will satisfy me the way I want, the way I need, not I want, whatever I need. In Nectar of Devotion, Krishna's qualities are mentioned. One quality, two qualities I'd like to highlight. One is grateful. Any person who is conscious of his friend's beneficent activities and never forgets his service is called grateful. So in Mahabharata, Krishna says, See, I was away from Draupadi and she was in danger. And you know that in that vicious assembly when she was disrobed and she was in danger, nobody could help her. She tried herself. Nobody in the assembly, not even her own husbands, they could help her. And then when everything failed, she gave up. And then she raised her arms and said, "Hey Govinda, hey Damodara, hey Madhava." Bilvamangal Thakur says, "Agre kurunam adha pandavanam dushyasanena hritavastrakesha Krishna tadakroshadananyanadha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti." See, in front of these Kurus and Pandavas, Agre Kuruna Matha Pandavanam Dushyasana Hrita Vastra Kesha, he has held and tried to disrobe, held her Kesha, the hair, and the Vastra, Hrita, he was taking it away. And Krishna, Draupadi is also called Krishna. Tada Akroshat, Akroshat means she was pitifully crying for help without having any other Natha. Ananya Natha means exclusively depending on Krishna as her Natha. Krishna Tadakroshat Ananya Natha. She was crying, Govinda Damodara Madhava iti. So when she called out, Krishna felt, this is what Krishna says. This call for me has put me in her debt, and that indebtedness is gradually increasing in my heart. So, because of that indebtedness, Krishna had to help her. So, anybody who calls Krishna with feeling like that, hey Govinda, Krishna feels that indebtedness in his heart. So, this statement by Krishna himself gives evidence of how one can please the Supreme Lord simply by addressing, hey Krishna, hey Govinda, or simply by this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's simply an address to the Lord and his energy Radharani. So, to anyone who is constantly engaged in addressing the Lord and his energy, you can only imagine how much the Supreme Lord is obliged. It is impossible for the Lord to ever forget such a devotee. So, anyone who addresses the Lord immediately attracts the attention of the Lord. The other quality I'd like to highlight in Nectar of Devotion is all worshipable. All worshipable means a person who is respected and worshipped by all kinds of human beings and demigods. Is called Sarva Aradhya, Sarva Aradhya, or all worshipable. That is one of the qualities of Krishna. He is worshipped by not only all human beings, but even by the Devatas. Like Lord Shiva. Shiva Virinchi Nutam Sharanyam. Shiva Virinchi means Shiva and Lord Brahma. Shiva, Lord Brahma, even Vishnu's expansions, Brahma Bhavohamapi Asya Kalah Kalayaha, as Baladeva says, even Brahma, the great demigods like Brahma, Shiva, and Asya Kalaha Kalayaha, his expansions and expansions of expansions, Baladeva, Sesha, they all accept Krishna as worshipable. And when Krishna appeared in the Rajasuya sacrifice organized by Yudhishthir Maharaj, Krishna became the cynosure, the center of attraction, and everyone offered their respects to him. And when Krishna appeared in the womb of Mother Yashoda, Mother Devaki, all these devatas came to pray for Krishna in the womb. And in that prayers, beautiful prayers, they say powerful words. Satyavratam satyaparam trisatyam satyasya yonim nihitam cha satye satyasya satyam ruta satya netram satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapanna. So this is the demigods praying. Prapannaha means we take full surrender, we fully surrender. Prapanna, we are under completely under your protection. Because Krishna is the complete shelter of anybody, including the shelter of the demigods. Real protection. Satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapannaha. The real protection can be given to anybody, including that of devatas, by Lord Krishna only. As you can see in several instances, when the demigods are in danger, they approach Krishna for protection, including Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, everybody. Like there was this instance where the demigods, they conduct a yagna by a prominent Brahmana called Vishwarupa. But this Vishwarupa, his lineage, his father is from the demigod side, and mother had connection to the demon side. So he had some affection for the demons. So secretly he gives the remnants of this yagna share to the demons. And so Indra becomes outraged. And in that fit of rage, he kills this Vishwarupa. And the Vishwarupa's father, Twashta, becomes so angry at Indra that he wanted to perform a yagna to attain a son who can kill Indra. And in that yagna, by mistake, he chants a wrong mantra, slight deviation. So the mantra basically will, instead of getting a son who could kill Indra, he obtains a powerful son who eventually gets killed by Indra. See the power of mantra chanting? If you chant even slightly syllables incorrectly, the Vedic mantras are so powerful, it will produce a something different result. That is why in this age, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, only the names of Lord Hari are prescribed. Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva Gatiranyadha. In this age of Kali, only Harinama, Harinama, Harinama. If something is told 3 times, it is final. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. People might propose, oh, there is by Karma Yoga, by Gnana Yoga, by Dhyana Yoga. No, none of those methods. Only by bhakti, particularly the chanting of the holy names. So the more we can become attached to chanting of the holy names, particularly this Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more beneficial for us. So he produced this son, a very powerful demon called Vritrasura. And this he started to devour the whole worlds. He was so huge and so powerful. His appearance was so fierce and terrible. And these demigods were running away in fear. And they were so afraid that they thought that's the end of it. And immediately they took shelter of Krishna. I mean, they obviously they went to the advice of Brahma, who said they should take shelter of Krishna. And then Krishna advised them to go to the sage Dadichi. And Dadichi, Krishna asked them, you get these bones from the body of Dadichi because he chants Narayana Kavacha, because of which these bones became very strong. And from those bones, you manufacture this Vajrayudha. You know, the Indra's famous weapon called Vajrayudha. It is made of this Dadichi's bones. And Dadichi, as soon as they approached, he tested them and he preached to them how this body is so flickering, so temporary. And he was glad that this body, which is of no use, is now being able to use for the Lord's order. So he happily gave up his life, his body, for the purpose of the Lord's order. And that's how they got Vajrayudha. Eventually, after a long battle, the Vajrayudha takes 1 year to cut the neck of Utrasura. So that's how strong Utrasura was. But the point is that even the Devatas, they have to go to Lord Vishnu. In Bhagavatam it is said, Swayam Nishreyasam Vidwan Navakti Agnaya Karmahi Narati Rogino Patyam Vanchatopi Bhishaktamaha. What it means is a pure devotee who is fully accomplished in the science of devotional service will never instruct a foolish person to engage in fruitive activities for material enjoyment, not to speak of helping him in such activities. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. So there was this parents who took his child to a doctor, and so the doctor examined the child, and instead of giving medicine for his disease, he had all kinds of problems in his mouth, toothache and digestion and all kinds of things. And he said, let me talk to this boy. And he took the boy separately and spoke to him. And he came out, and they thought he will give him some medicine and all of that. And he said, no, the medicine for him is, don't let him go to his aunt's house. He said, I thought you'll give some medicine. Why would you stop him from visiting his aunt? His aunt is a very favorite person of his. He likes to go there every day and enjoy. He loves that. How can you stop? How can we stop that? And then he explained, that is a problem. And it seems every day he's going and he's eating as much candy as he likes. And that is spoiling all his teeth and digestion and all kinds of problems. So that is why I want you to not send him to his aunt's house for some time. So it's like that. So the demigods are like that aunt who wants to give to their devotees whatever they like without caring whether that does good or bad. But Krishna is like the father. He wants to do only good for his child. Instead of giving a candy which will spoil his health, he will give him nice, healthy meal which will give him strength. He will educate him. He will take charge of him for his future. That is like Krishna. So here it is said in this sloka that the pure devotee or Krishna even, they will never instruct a foolish person to engage in fruitive activities for material enjoyment. You will never see Prabhupada asking, preaching, oh yeah, you can go to, sometimes you can go to demigods. Sometimes you can engage in some karmic activities, karma kanda, for material enjoyment. No, they will never do that because they know it is ultimately bad for you. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat injurious eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. So, and finally, Devan Devayajo Yanti Madbhakta Yanti Mamapi. People usually think they can go to, because their question is, Prabhupada answers that very nicely in the purport. If we say that the devatas are all part and parcel of God in the universal body, then how does it matter? We are, approaching God's body only. If you approach the body, it is like approaching you. They are not different from God's body. The point is, Prabhupada mentions, not all parts of the body are capable of serving the body. Like, for example, the food has to be given through the mouth. You cannot give the food through the eyes or the ears and say that, oh, it's all part of the body. So it's like that. The proper thing has to be approached. Or Prabhupada sometimes says, see, you have to touch the feet of the spiritual master. If you touch the hair, you can say, I'm touching the spiritual master. But how proper it is very improper. It's like that. And just like by supplying food to other parts of the body, you will not get the desired result. Similarly, by worshipping Devan, Devayajaha Yanti, you will go to the demigods and their temporary planets, which are all destroyed at the end of this, at the end of this millennium or whenever it is. So better you take to exclusive worship of Krishna. Mad Bhakta Yanti Mamapi. Any other questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Hey Mataji, you had question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Sadar Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you Prabhuji for the class. I had a question uh, regarding the worship of the demigods was told in today's class. Um, we from childhood are not, even though we are Krishna Bhaktas from childhood, but still we used to have like Ma Saraswati Mata and Lakshmi and Ganapati and Shiva also in our altars. Commonly in our altars at that time, we were not ISKCON or not into this Krishna consciousness or nothing of this sort earlier. So, but when we came purely into Krishna consciousness, we understood that it is Krishna everything, and then we started doing the parampara system, and we kept all those. Altar was changed completely, but then we don't know what to do with the other Saraswati Mata. And also when I asked my mom, she was saying that we cannot remove like that, because all these days you have been keeping those in your altar. So maybe you can use saying that, give me the knowledge to do the Krishna Bhakti more, and pray to Mother Saraswati, and then still you can still have it in your altar, and then Shiva is a great Vaishnava, so ask him, like, let me get the strength to pray and not to get into Maya anymore. And so uh, and she was afraid that we are not supposed to take it. So is that true, or is it okay to take it, or how should our approach be in terms of already existing deities, if we have it in our mandir?
Yeah, I think what your mother told is a good idea. It's uh, the reason why sometimes even Vaishnavas like Vrajavasis and even Rukmini Devi, for example, went to the temple of Durga Devi. The reason they worship the Devatas is to pray for Krishna Bhakti, for Krishna consciousness. The gopis worshipped Katyayini, so to get Krishna as their husband, like that. So as long as your intention is that you're praying for Krishna consciousness, then it is all right. But sometimes people, Krishna's concern is that if he gives one statement which is in support of Devata Aradhana, then people will mistake that and they will make that as a big thing. Even though the Devatas are subservient to Krishna, they should be respected, they should not be disrespected. But service and worship is done exclusively to Krishna. So the Devatas should be respected as the servants of Krishna. But they are also living entities. As I said in the class on Bhagavatam Shloka, even the Gunavataras, Brahma and Shiva cannot deliver the soul. Only Krishna, Vishnu can do that, or Krishna can do that. So worship is exclusively given to Krishna, but we can respect the demigods and we can pray to them to give Krishna Bhakti as you're doing. That is all right. But if somebody doesn't have all those, you should not bring separately. Oh, now let me get Saraswati. Now let me get Lord Shiva. Let me get Ganesha.
Mm.
And then start to worship. No need for bringing new things. Already Kali Yuga, the time is limited. And whatever time we have, we should exclusively dedicate for this processes of bhakti, like hearing, chanting. And I would even advise people, if they are engaged in elaborate rituals every day, to the extent that they are not able to spend time for chanting the holy name or increase the number of rounds, I would advise them to minimize those rituals, like all these detailed rituals they're doing in the mornings, in favor of chanting. So, in short, yes, that is all right. What you're doing is all right.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And one more question, Prabhuji. Uh, you mentioned that if you are not concentrating on Krishna but then making efforts on other thing, then the whole thing will be wasted. So I'm not sure of other sampradayas, like, Rudra Sampradaya and what is the other one? Sri Rudra
Kumara Sampradaya.
Kumara. Yeah. What does Kumara and Rudra Sampradaya mean? Do they mean that is demigod worship, or is it like those are also bona fide ones, is what I heard? So do they worship Shiva then?
No, no, no. All these uh, Sampradayas worship Krishna only.
Oh,
Krishna
okay.
or Vishnu or Narayana, Vishnu Tattva.
But
Sampradaya
Rudra
means
means, the
worship
name
Vishnu
itself
only.
says Rudra means Shiva only, right?
No, Rudra Sampradaya means that Sampradaya originated from Shiva. It doesn't mean they worship Shiva.
Mm-hmm.
Brahma Sampradaya means it worshipped from Brahma. Sri Sampradaya worshipped, it originated from Brahma, originated from Lakshmi Devi, originated from Kumaras. But they all preach Krishna consciousness.
Okay. So any of these four sampradayas is okay.
Yeah, yeah, as long as one follows properly, the if they are linked up to the Sampradaya teachings, then they are in the right path. They cannot invent or concoct,
Mm.
they have to follow.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.